There's a secret most men learn too late. That the most unforgettable women aren't the ones who always said yes, who always played nice, or who always made themselves available. No, the ones who stay in your mind, who show up in your dreams years later, are the ones who lived by their own rules, who did what they weren't supposed to do, who broke the good girl script and embraced something far more powerful, their own unapologetic truth. These women aren't for everyone, and they know it, but that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Irresistibly dangerous. And the older they get, the more they stop hiding it, because they've seen enough, felt enough, and lost enough to realize that life is too short to ask for permission to be themselves. And those so-called flaws, those little habits that society told them to suppress, those are exactly the things that drive people wild. Let's talk about the first one, emotional selfishness. Now, don't confuse this with being cold or uncaring. A mature woman can love deeply, more deeply than most. But here's the difference. She no longer sacrifices herself in the process. She's not going to abandon her own peace just to keep someone else happy. She's not going to chase. She's not going to overextend. And she damn sure won't beg for love. She's been there. She's played the good girl. She's bent until she almost broke. And now, she knows better. She protects her energy like a lioness guarding her den. She knows that not everyone deserves access to her heart, her body, or her time. And when she walks away, she doesn't explain, because she owes no one an explanation for choosing herself. That kind of emotional self-prioritization is magnetic. Why? Because it signals value. When a woman treats her time and energy as sacred, others begin to see it that way too. She doesn't just walk into a room. She makes others rise to meet her standards. And the paradox? The more unavailable she seems emotionally, the more people want to be the exception, the one who can reach her, unlock her, tame her. But she doesn't want to be tamed. She wants to be met. And only a man who has done his own inner work will even get close. Now let's talk about the second vice, sensual dominance. This isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about power that whispers instead of shouts. It's the way she holds herself, the way she speaks slowly and makes eye contact a second longer than expected. It's the way she can touch her wine glass and somehow make it erotic. She's not desperate to be noticed, and that's why she's impossible to ignore. She doesn't just know what she wants. She knows how to guide someone else toward it. She takes her time. She's not rushed. She understands anticipation, silence, tension. While younger women might still be trying to prove they're sexy, the mature woman already knows she is. And that knowing, that grounded, sensual confidence, is a drug. She might take control in ways that shock you. She'll tell you where to put your hands. She'll stop you mid-sentence with a kiss, or just a look. And sometimes she'll do nothing at all. She'll just look at you, knowing you're falling apart inside, just waiting for her next move. That's what sensual dominance is, not needing to chase, because you've already won. But here's the twist. She doesn't dominate to control others. She does it to express herself, to play, to lead an experience with presence and intention. And once you've tasted that level of presence, it ruins you for anything less. What both of these vices have in common, emotional selfishness and sensual dominance, is clarity. Clarity of who she is, of what she wants, and of what she refuses to tolerate ever again. She's not playing a role anymore. She's not pretending to be easygoing or low maintenance. She doesn't fake smiles. She doesn't fake orgasms. And she doesn't fake interest. And the truth is, most people aren't ready for a woman like that. Because she forces you to level up. She triggers the parts of you that are insecure, unhealed, or still looking for someone to complete you. But if you're a man who's done his work, who doesn't fear powerful women, but reveres them, then you'll find yourself absolutely addicted. So the next time you meet a woman who seems too much, who speaks her truth even when it's uncomfortable, who walks like she owns the damn street, ask yourself, is she too much, or are you just not enough yet? By now, you've probably realized something important. These vices aren't really vices at all, at least not in the traditional sense. They're just behaviors that make the world uncomfortable, behaviors that challenge the way women are expected to behave. That's why they're so powerful. Because a woman who embraces them becomes something that society can't control. And nothing is more attractive than freedom. Vicio numero tres, strategic rebellion. A mature woman who has been through the cycles of conformity and disappointment no longer follows the rules just because they exist. She questions them. She challenges them. And when they no longer serve her, she breaks them, not out of anger, but out of alignment with herself. She might wear red lipstick at a business meeting. She might laugh too loud at a formal dinner. She might talk about sex openly at a table where everyone else is pretending not to think about it. But here's the key. She's not doing it for shock value. She's doing it because she's no longer ashamed of who she is. She's not here to be palatable. She's here to be real. This kind of rebellion isn't chaotic. It's strategic. She knows exactly when to bend a rule to make a point, to create a spark, or to shift the energy in a room. And she doesn't rebel against everything, only against what limits her. That's what makes her magnetic. She's not trying to please the system. She's creating her own. And when you're around her, you either expand or get left behind. There's something profoundly erotic about that. Watching someone live in truth, even when it's inconvenient, even when it makes people uncomfortable. It makes you want to drop your own mask, to speak more honestly, to live more boldly. Her rebellion gives others permission to be free, and that kind of freedom is deeply, irresistibly sexy. Now for the fourth vice, shameless flirting. This is one that truly separates the mature woman from the insecure girl. Because while many flirt to gain attention or validation, a woman who has owned her sensuality flirts because it's fun. It's an art form, a dance, a delicious way of playing with energy without needing it to go anywhere specific. She'll flirt with the waiter, with the woman at the coffee shop, with a man in line at the bookstore. She doesn't care about being misunderstood. She's not afraid of being judged. She flirts not to manipulate, but to express, to radiate, to awaken desire in herself and in others. And that kind of flirting is unstoppable because it doesn't come from need. It comes from overflow. There's nothing desperate about it. She doesn't drop fake compliments or giggle on cue. Her flirting is subtle, confident, and disarming. It's the glance over her shoulder as she walks away. The moment she brushes your hand while handing you a pen. The soft bite of her lip when she's listening to you speak. It's alive, and it invites you to wake up and feel again. Most people don't realize how numb they've become until they meet someone who flirts like this. Someone who can turn a casual conversation into something electric without ever being crude. Someone who can light your skin on fire just by saying your name the right way. That's not something you can fake. It only comes from deep self-acceptance and embodied sensuality. And perhaps what's most addictive about her is that you never quite know if she's flirting with you or just being herself. Because for her, there's no difference anymore. She's woven her sensual energy into everything she does. It's in the way she moves, the way she listens, the way she breathes. And once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. You'll find yourself wondering if you imagined it, and that uncertainty only draws you in deeper. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. A mature woman who flirts shamelessly and rebels strategically isn't dangerous because she's wild. She's dangerous because she's intentional, because she knows the effect she has, and she's not afraid to use it. Not to harm, not to conquer, but to express. To create experiences that people will remember for the rest of their lives. And that's the real secret. She's not just sexy in the way she looks. She's sexy in the way she lives, in the way she risks, in the way she refuses to settle for smallness, in herself or in anyone around her. If you've ever met a woman like that, you know exactly what I mean. She leaves a mark, not on your skin, but on your soul. And no matter how much time passes, you'll find yourself thinking about her, wondering what she's doing, who she's ruining next. Because once you've felt that kind of freedom, that kind of fire, everything else feels cold. By this point, you're probably beginning to understand. These dirty vices don't live on the surface. They're not about how much skin she shows or how loud she laughs. They're about the layers underneath. The things she doesn't say right away. The rules she quietly breaks. The energy she carries when she walks into a room and makes everyone curious, but says almost nothing. That brings us to the fifth vice, calculated mystery. She's not mysterious because she's hiding. She's mysterious because she's selective. She doesn't overshare. She doesn't post every detail of her life online. She doesn't need external validation to feel real. And that makes people wonder, who is she when the lights go out? What is she like when the world isn't watching? Mystery is magnetic, not because it withholds, but because it seduces. And she's a master at it. She doesn't rush to fill silence. She knows that the spaces between words are just as powerful as the words themselves. She listens more than she speaks, and when she does speak, It's intentional, meaningful. She doesn't explain herself. She lets you feel your way through her energy. She's not afraid to make you wait, to leave your messages on read, to walk away when things get too easy. Not because she plays games, but because she doesn't chase attention. She commands it. She lets you come to her, and if you don't, she doesn't flinch. That kind of detachment drives people crazy, because it forces you to ask, what's behind her eyes? What is she thinking? Does she even care? And that's the trap, the beautiful, maddening trap. You'll start replaying every conversation, overanalyzing her tone, reading into her pauses. She becomes a puzzle you want to solve, and the more you try, the more you realize the mystery isn't something to solve. It's something to surrender to. But this mystery isn't cold. It's not distant. It's intentional. It's the kind of mystery that holds depth, that promises layers you can only access through presence, patience, and authenticity. And when she finally lets you in, when she shows you a part of herself no one else has seen, it feels sacred, like being chosen by a goddess. And you'll never forget that moment, because it's not something she gives often. Now let's talk about the sixth vice, emotional intensity. Most people are terrified of intense women. They've been taught to fear passion, to label emotion as too much, to back away the moment things get too real. But a mature woman who's been through enough heartbreak and healing no longer apologizes for feeling deeply. She doesn't tone herself down. She doesn't water herself down to be easier to digest. She burns. She laughs harder. She cries openly. She feels everything. And when she loves you with her whole body, her whole presence, her whole being. There's no halfway with her. You're either all in, or you're out. She'll call you out when you're lying to yourself. She'll see through your bravado and straight into your fear. She won't let you coast through life numbed out and half awake. Her presence alone will demand more from you. More honesty, more presence, more fire. She'll challenge you, not to break you, but to wake you up. Because that's what her intensity does. It wakes people up. It forces them to feel, to confront the parts of themselves they've been hiding. That's why people either fall deeply in love with her or run from her as fast as they can. She's a mirror, and mirrors are uncomfortable when you're not ready to see what's there. But if you can hold her, really hold her, through all that depth, she'll give you a kind of love that most people will never experience. A love that's raw, honest, unfiltered. A love that shows up in the middle of the night when everything is falling apart. A love that doesn't flinch when you're messy, broken, or scared. Her emotional intensity isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. It means she's alive, that she hasn't shut down like so many others. And that aliveness, that capacity to feel and express without shame, is intoxicating. When she looks at you with that fire in her eyes, you'll feel it in your chest, in your spine, in the parts of you that have been asleep for years. And you'll either rise to meet her, or you'll collapse under the weight of her truth. So if you ever find yourself drawn to a woman who doesn't apologize for her mystery or her emotion, who challenges you and entrances you at the same time, be careful. Because you're not just dealing with another pretty face. You're dealing with a force of nature. And once you've tasted her intensity, you'll find it hard, maybe impossible, to go back to anything lukewarm. By now it's clear. These so-called vices aren't flaws. They are flames. And when a mature woman decides to stop dimming hers, the world starts to notice. Not just because of what she says or does, but because of what she awakens in others. Her energy is different. It disrupts. It shakes you awake. And it doesn't ask for permission. Let's dive into the seventh vice, power games. Now, this isn't manipulation. It's mastery. A mature woman doesn't play games because she's insecure. She plays power games because she understands energy. She understands dynamics. She understands how attraction works at the psychological level. She knows how to create tension, how to build desire without touching you, how to pull back just when you think you have her, and how to lean in just enough to drive you mad. She's not trying to confuse you. She's creating contrast, rhythm, movement, a dance where every step means something. She won't always say what she's feeling. Sometimes she'll test you, just to see if you're steady, if you can handle her silence, if you'll chase, if you'll fold, not to punish you, but to reveal you. Because she's not interested in weak energy. She's not here for boys pretending to be men. She wants a partner who can handle her fire without shrinking. And she doesn't give power away easily. She might let you take the lead, but only if you've proven you know where you're going. And if you don't, She'll take over without hesitation. Not out of ego, but out of necessity. Because she refuses to follow someone who doesn't know how to hold her. This is the kind of woman who can make you question everything. She'll let you think you're in control, only to show you, with one glance, one breath, one touch, that she's been holding the strings the entire time. And you'll love her for it. Because deep down, you want to be led by someone who knows exactly who they are. Power, in her hands, isn't aggressive. It's magnetic. She doesn't shout. She doesn't threaten. She just exists with such certainty that you feel yourself gravitating toward her. You find yourself wanting to impress her, wanting to prove yourself, wanting to be worthy. Not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. And then there's the final vice. The one most people can't handle. Unfiltered truth. A mature woman has no more time for pretending. She's done with small talk. She's done with lies. She doesn't smile to make others comfortable, and she doesn't say what you want to hear just to keep the peace. She speaks what's real, what's raw, what's often left unsaid. She'll tell you when you've disappointed her. She'll tell you when she's not impressed. And she'll definitely tell you when you've touched her soul. There's no mask anymore. No performance. Just truth. And it's not always pretty. Sometimes it stings. Sometimes it cuts. But it always liberates. Because when she speaks, she isn't trying to hurt you. She's trying to wake you up. To give you the chance to meet her where she is. To be fully seen, if you're brave enough. You can't lie to her. She sees through the script. Through the excuses. Through the charm. She's been lied to before. She's lied to herself before. And she's not doing that anymore. So don't come to her with half-truths and polished words. Come real, or don't come at all. That kind of truth is electric. It's terrifying, but it's also healing. Because when you're in the presence of someone that real, it gives you permission to drop your own mask. To speak your own truth. To finally stop performing. And here's the twist. Once you've had a woman like this, one who plays with power and speaks with fire, you will never be able to go back to anything fake, anything polite, anything hollow. Because the world is full of people who smile with dead eyes, who say the right things but feel like nothing. And when you've tasted truth, nothing else satisfies. She will ruin you for the ordinary, and you will thank her for it. Because at the end of the day, a mature woman with dirty vices isn't dangerous because she's wild. She's dangerous because she's awake. And in a world that's half asleep, she shines like fire in the dark.